I've tried explaining, not for nothing. I've tried changing. I reckon I'm not much for shifting gears. Loneliness I've been through till there's nothing more I can do. Yet tonight I'm out here wasting all my breath. Life of these I squandered, left to seek out what I
Norm MacDonald here. So you have a podcast, huh? Fantastic. You know what I always say? You know what the world needs more of? Podcasts.
Live from the Screwball Whiskey Studios, The Kelsey Hutchins Show.
Up in Cheyenne for like just normal people, everyday working man. $1.97. I don't think I've heard of it under $2 in a long time.
Hey,
Stosh.
And our dollars about 75 cents.
You're a robot, Stosh.
Oh.
Yeah, man.
You're breaking up, Stosh.
If you could talk slower, that'd be worse.
Let's speed him up.
So, we're live. Heads
All
up.
right, I'm out, buddy. I gotta get some dinner.
All right, buddy. Good to see you. Talk to you later.
Boomerang.
We're live. I'm making some spaghetti. Don't hate on my ground beef roll because this is all they had at Walmart. Nailed it. The train going by, Stosh?
Stream looks great.
Was the train
I
going
like
by?
that set.
You like the setup?
Oh yeah.
It's not bad, right? You'll be seeing a lot of my back when I'm over there, but you'll be able to see what I'm doing, at least. So, there's that. The only thing that would have been better if I would have had one of those, like, something's burning setups like Bert's got.
The one pan just smoking. Lose it. You gotta write something in that chat. Can't leave me hanging.
Oh, what's going on? We got Mumford Davis. We got Stosh James Peterson in the comments.
Small town.
And we're gonna make a shitload of spaghetti, y'all. What do y'all think about that?
Damn. This is how you do your meal preps.
Yeah, so this is precisely how that happens. I know it's a little bit early for spaghetti. Most people would be having bacon or eggs or something like that. But I'm making spaghetti because I kind of want to make spaghetti. And plus, it's dinner time for me, man. I keep saying, and I do want to go live on Facebook, so maybe I don't know, maybe I could share the fact that I'm live now on Facebook. Should I do that? Careful with sharp objects. Breakfast spaghetti, eating like a king today. That's right, Soren.
I just put in Kill Tony chat. You're live.
Oh, nice.
I could actually share your void.
I keep old newspapers for random things, one of which is chopping onions. I don't need that pot of water, but we'll save it for later. But first, let's get this going. Do we have something that we need here? You can watch this spoon. So, how's it going, guys? How you doing? Careful with sharp objects, Mumford. Careful with sharp objects, Stosh James Peterson.
I want to poke an eye out.
So I'm literally about to make 5 pounds of meat and spaghetti, there will be so much spaghetti. I'll be fucking sick of spaghetti by the time I run out. But who cares? Oh, no, that is 5 pounds of spaghetti. Yes, I answered the question I didn't even know you had asked. You see this big pan here that I have to have on 2 different burners over here? So we'll keep both of those at about a mid-7. And break this shit apart. How do you make spaghetti when you make spaghetti, Mumford?
Hey, Stash.
Set some down.
I bet you can't guess what's happening right now. It's fucking snowing.
Oh, we're getting a little bit of that too.
We also
Piece of
have
shit
Brother
fell
Ben.
spring.
Brother Ben on the road out there. Forgive me, Brother Ben. I forgot you were in here. I didn't hear you.
Yeah, small town. We're live on YouTube with Kelsey. He's cooking spaghetti. I think you picked up on that.
That's how we save world hunger right there. Just get all the moms in the world to make spaghetti.
That'd be a hell of an idea, I think.
Or we get a lot of white rappers.
Yeah, it's Stash at Mom's.
Fuck.
There's spaghetti on my spaghetti already. Mom's spaghetti.
There's something like that.
Chop all this shit up. I would normally use a better meat than that big old fucking roll, but that's all they had, so I got 2 of them.
Monford Davis.
Yeah, didn't we have a conversation about spaghetti one time, Mumford? How do you make your spaghetti?
We did. Are you gonna freeze?
Oh, of course. I have my hefty storage slider quart freezer bags.
Nice.
They're not freezer bags, they're just slider quart bags, but I'm putting them in the freezer. I mean, I'm sure they're safe for the freezer, right? Yeah, well, a competitive eater might want to eat all of the spaghetti all at once. But, oh hey, let me move. Competitive eater might want to do that, but I'm going to spread this out over the course of a little bit.
So, are the kids at home for a few weeks there, Ben?
Yeah, they're out of school. Out of school till April something.
You think they're really going to go back in April?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's the date that they set.
Yeah. Would hope so.
No Vegas trip.
Be right back.
I can wait. It's important you guys stay healthy.
Yeah, no Vegas.
Yeah. It's probably not safe to go anywhere like that right now, I would guess.
I don't know, man. It still feels more like fear. Like, I've caught myself being scared a few times, too, and freaking out about this stuff. But at the same time, it's like, okay, 57 people in Salt Lake out of, the million-something that live there. There's 15 cases in Wyoming out of the 500,000. It's like, you're not that likely to get it.
Yeah. Yes, you're right.
It's the rate of infection, though, or how fast it spreads. So they want to limit people's contacts. And if we do that early, it means we get out of quarantine earlier. So just take the right precautions. And you can always book a trip on the fly. I understand what you're saying. I'm the
I
first guy to
worry
freak out.
about nothing. And I'm freaking out too, man. I mean, with the kids being home and all this stuff, and I keep, every time you open Facebook or whatever, it's all over the place, news. It's just freaking people out, but at the same time, it's like, it's not that huge right now.
Yeah,
Like, you
we
can go
don't
outside, you're going to be okay, I think, if you go for a walk or something.
Yeah, and we don't see like ICUs or a massive emergency response. So they're just telling us to stay in our homes, and it seems a little odd, to say the least.
Yeah, everybody in America getting in your homes makes it a lot easier to find you.
Or the people who don't have home.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people living in their cars out of tent and stuff. Which is up.
There's a lot of conspiracies out there, but it does make you think, how do we get everyone in America to be in their homes at the same time? Or everyone in the world?
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I think this is a whole sort of a situation that I've said a long time ago about you got Netflix and Amazon Prime and all of these things that make it so much easier for people to be in their homes and not leave than to go out into the world and clog up the roads and the stores. So
it's the start of WALL-E right now, man. And everybody get in their homes and watch TV.
Right.
Don't ever leave again.
But where it's a convenience, it may be restrictive to others.
Yeah.
For some, it's a convenience. It's a restriction for others. We're trying to meet in the middle here, right?
Yeah.
Right now.
And I realize I didn't completely finish my thought, but I'm high, forgive me. But fucking, that seems like if the biggest problem in the world is there's too much people, then instead of getting rid of all the people, the easiest way to control that is to keep them at home and not have them out in the world clogging up the roads and the stores and the things like that. I feel like that's a much more humane way of population control, is just literally make people stay at home. The thing that freaks me out about this situation more so than everything else is that there is so much money that is being lost right now by giant corporations like the NFL, MLB, just in sports alone. The fact that all of those things have shut down scares me.
Yeah,
Everything
tourism
shut down,
is.
the stock market's tanked. A lot of people are losing money.
Tourism to Vegas alone is probably $1 billion industry a year.
Yeah, they were
Vegas
saying we
Strip
can't
shut
afford
down.
to live if we don't get to open these again. So people are already petitioning to reopen Vegas. So they can't live. I don't know if I'd be able to live like had stopped working like everybody else is. I don't know if they'll stop working, but at the moment, nobody's traveling really, so gas prices are tanking also.
And it's a strain on the household, like, to have the kids there 24/7 for a month. How many goldfish crackers can one family buy at a time?
Yeah, my wife's going insane already. It's been 5 days.
Yeah.
How long did it take her?
To go insane?
How many years? Wait, what? I'm just picking.
No, yeah, it's
My
like
son's
day
been in school
4.
for 2 years. Yeah, it's day 4 or 5. Anyway, she went to a friend's house and got hammered tonight.
Good for
She
her.
couldn't take it anymore.
She's coping well.
Good for her.
It took 4 days of being isolated in the house with the kids, and she's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here and going drinking.
That's good, man. Good for her.
Or how about the money the airline industry is losing right now?
Yeah, I think they've already been asking for government subsidies, which means we're paying for the airlines to stay open.
Now we're getting somewhere, y'all.
The airlines bought fucking people for so many years. They should have had a stockpile by now and saved up some fucking money. Same as insurance companies, right? They only pay out if somebody gets in an accident, but you can pay for insurance for 20 years and never get in an accident. Where's all that money going? In their fucking pocket. And get that shit back.
Better get that shit back. So, apparently there's literally sending out 2 checks to everybody in the fucking country.
That's what we hear. That's what we hear. I don't know if that's actually going to happen. See when I get the check in my hand, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm screaming, man. Like, but apparently I looked, and they've got dates set. There's one in April and one in May, and there's a bill that's on the table right now to have another one roll out in June. So, but I don't know. It's nice to see that the country's actually doing, and it could be nothing. It could be nothing, but I would think that the fact that people are taking fucking
People like you, I feel like getting hit the hardest. Musicians and comedians and people that need crowds to survive.
Yeah.
They're gonna get hit the hardest because right now everything's shut down. There's no crowds anywhere. You can't have a crowd.
But man, I've had random people just Venmo me dollars just because they're like, hey man, I appreciate you releasing content right now since we can't like go out and see you, because I played some songs yesterday.
Yeah, I was saying I'm lucky I'm still at work, but it's also scary that I'm still at work, you know?
Yeah.
I'm telling everybody not to go inside the stores anymore and just do your thing and stay outside in your truck. Like, isolate yourself at work, pretty much.
But dude, everybody's staying out of everybody's way. Like, it's literally like the world I've always wanted is when I walk down an aisle, somebody goes the other direction. Like, that's just the world I've always wanted.
Yeah, all you have to do is cough and everybody's out your way. Open like the Red Sea.
Yeah, I'd hit a few GBs yesterday before I went to Walmart, and I was walking out to the store, and I realized how self-conscious I was about having to cough. It's like you're just terrified to even act like you're gonna cough or something resembling a cough.
Yeah.
Then I'm way more conscious. I wash my hands like 6 times a day now. I don't really have any hand sanitizer, but when I find it, like something nobody thinks about, but they're everywhere, is porta potties. They all have shit tons of hand sanitizer in them. So I've been hitting those up. We're having some hand sanitizer.
I was always pretty good about washing my hands, but I have been using hand sanitizer a lot more than usual lately.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
like
I'm
one
doing
of
it
the,
way more often.
isn't it one of the first things you learn, like after look both ways when you cross the street?
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
Yeah, I
before
mean,
you
I'm not
eat.
saying I wasn't washing my hands. What I'm saying is I'm doing it more often.
Oh no,
Almost
I
every time I stop the truck. Wash my
totally
hands.
agree. I'm the same way. Become almost germophobic.
Yeah. Imagine the people with OCD right now. They're fucked. They were scared enough as it was to touch things.
But it's important to remain calm, remain strong. keep doing what you're doing, and
That's an Outkast song. Hold on, be strong.
roses smell like boo hoo hoo.
Yeah.
You ever play that on? Did you play that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I got a niece named Caroline, so now when I sing it, I get a little upset when he goes, "She's the reason for the word, bitch."
I never even put two and two together.
Sweet Caroline. There you go. And I am home. Almost made it through another week.
Alright, I can still go on Facebook on the website and post that I'm live.
Best podcast of the week thus far?
Small Town Mentality Podcast?
Oh.
Small Town Mentality Podcast. Y'all go download that if you hear this. Go sub to that on the everywhere podcasts are available, folks. Oh shit, I gotta set this up yet.
Become number 17.
I'll just tell y'all a little trick of the trade. Always keep newspapers handy. Old newspapers. I know you call me a hoarder. I never throw them away. Whenever you are cooking spaghetti and you have to drain the meat, you can line your sink with old newspapers. And you know what? We'll do more than that. Let's do 2 of them. And the newspapers will soak up all of the grease and it will not go down the drain.
Explain slower how to drain the meat.
So, that like that. Just like
That's
this.
pretty smart. Then you don't get your sink dirty either, right?
You don't get your sink dirty. You let that shit dry in the newspaper and you throw it away.
I like that.
Look at that.
It's a good hack there. Life.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, nice and brown.
Speaking of good hacks, you guys should hear my comedy set.
Okay, we'll take some of these old napkins in here and get some of that excess grease out of there.
A nice looking pan there.
Thank you.
I really wanted a flame to just pop up behind you while you're distracted. You ever have a fire in the kitchen?
I have not. Well, I may have.
Well, the goal is not to. You know what they say, you never trust a skinny cook or a skinny chef.
Yeah,
Damn
well,
it,
that's not the
fuck
issue
that.
today here.
Can you do the onion Shrek bit?
Onion volcano, onion volcano.
Fuck it. If I gotta lose that outer layer to get all the stuff off, I will. It's not that much to worry with. How do I want to cut these things, though? Is that question. You know, I'll do one super thin. You know, the night that I got these knives, I chopped my fucking fingertip off.
That was my next question.
I was chopping up bacon to make sausage with. Or make sausage gravy with, rather. Breakfast gravy. And these I will do chunky.
What'd you say about baby gravy?
I made a shitload of gravy out of all kinds of shit, but the best I would use a pound of Jimmy Dean's sage sausage and make this a little better, and pound of bacon. And I would cook the bacon, chop it up, and put it in with the sausage. And dude, that shit was fire. And I'm crying my eyeballs out onions right now. Hold on, let me go to the bathroom and wash my hands. I'll be right back.
Are we supposed to take over his show?
I think so.
Sweet. I'm gonna play some Call of Duty.
I've been up so long, I can't even see television screen.
You're brewing some coffee.
I'm home 2 hours earlier than I have been all week.
Oh, should I do some
Nailed it.
coffee too?
Okay. Now we can get the heat back on this thing. Once these onions, the thin ones, are about transparent, we'll throw some the mushrooms in there. And the best thing about cutting your onions like that is that when you're done, all you have to do is that right there.
Beautiful.
Like
Looking
that.
good.
Hey, like that. And that's that. Cleanup is a breeze with newspapers from your local government and probably nonprofit. So yeah. I don't know how much. I don't know how much. And yeah, I'm touching this shit. I'm probably gonna be the only one eating it. Fuck y'all. Anybody said anything about it? I'm just kidding. Put some mushrooms in that shit. I don't know how much of the sauce are gonna be able to fit, but what I am gonna do first is get some mushrooms, Mumford.
They come in the coolest containers, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Save a handful of them for a drop one for a steak. right on top of the steak so they can go ahead and get friendly in the refrigerator. Do y'all do that? Do y'all give things, inanimate objects, personalities? Anybody? Just me?
What's happening?
Like,
There's a story about that.
Toy
Giving
Story?
your shoes a personality. What? I'll be deep dive.
I haven't put any oil down in here yet. That's too much.
But yes, I'm sure yes. It's about a student asking her professor why she thinks her shoes have a personality. Something.
Something like that. But no, I'll give inanimate objects personality. Like, for instance, I don't want to leave my equipment in the car because I think he gets lonely out there. Does that make any sense to anybody? And I just put a bag of mushrooms on top of a steak that it's going to eventually go with. And I was like, yeah, go ahead and get that in the refrigerator together so it can all be friendly. Anybody else do shit like that? Or is that just my crazy ass?
I'll do that.
Another trick too, and I could have left most of the excess grease from the hamburger meat in here, but since it wasn't a very good cut of meat and it's probably the lowest grade ground beef available, I didn't really want the grease off of it so much as I just kind of wanted the meat for the substance, which I have. And usually, but in other times, whenever you cook a meat, you can usually take whatever the grease from that, or the juice, if you will, from whatever that meat you cook, and put it in whatever side you're making to blend everything together a little bit. Hello. Redneck cooking tip. I think that's not just a redneck thing. I think everybody did that.
Oh, I just landed, and boy, my arms are tired.
What do you got planned for today, Stas? You gonna go out? You gonna go to the park? You gonna go to the mall? And
I missed that last part. What?
you gonna go to the park? You gonna go hang out in the mall? You gonna go be around?
Definitely. I'm gonna get out for at least an hour, do a walk. Might have a hot date, watch a movie.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to do the social distancing thing.
I got those jokers.
I'm wary.
Oh, we
You're
got a
live on YouTube. If
How are you doing yonder? How's the spaghetti going?
It's going pretty good. Right now we're trying to get the onions. I cut some of them really small, so I'm trying to cook them down to almost transparency before I throw the mushrooms on. Get a nice brown caramelization on these onions. Oh
Your
shit!
cups might be bigger.
What was that?
I thought your cups would be on the bigger side.
What is cup size?
That
Yeah.
was a joke on his cup size.
Hey-o, titty joke. Waterloo, Sparkling water. I've never had this before.
Oh, frizzante, as the French say.
It's not bad. I like the bubbly watermelon better.
That's burpee water.
That's right. Which, ironically enough, is good for heartburn, yeah? Just like, makes anything to make you burp, like to get the acid, like at least the most of the acid in your body out through burps, maybe. But yeah, man, spaghetti's going good. And I'm glad it's going good too, because some of these onions are going to be too big for spaghetti. Just now looking at them. Got them too big, too chunky. But I like onions.
They're good and they're good.
And I cannot lie.
I like onions. Let's see.
Oh, they're good and they're good for you.
Yeah, they're good. They are good for you. Do I?
Till they start leaking out your armpits while you sit beside someone in public.
Yep, that is when they are not good. You're right. I thought I had one of those little.
The library. Browse in the library.
I did have one of those little pump chopper things. You can go up here. Out of the fucking way. So I know what I'll do now. Oh yeah, these onions are browning up like
Oh,
nice.
it's gonna be for some bad baseball because of spring camp being cut short too. They're just gonna go right into the season probably.
Yep. There's gonna be no spring training. They'll just go straight into the regular season, I guess. They may have a
Like
couple
they're
of like exhibition games, but
And they're professional baseball players.
right.
But yeah, that's no practice going in cold. That might be. That's when guys get injured. Shit happens. You never want to go in cold. Wake up every morning and stretch.
I'm sure they're all still doing that, but I bet they do that during the off season. But they're gonna keep their regular like
Muscle
shit
spasms all day.
normal.
Not stretching. Crap.
No performance enhancing drugs here.
Some of these plates have little tiny. You see this little tiny thing in it right there? It's not a crack, but it goes all the way through, so it could have been. I don't know.
Oh shit. Okay, let's see. Look for data.
Don't lose. Oh, he's wearing a little Braves baseball shirt anyway.
Damn right I am.
Represent.
I wore this shirt yesterday too, but I didn't wear it for long enough to warrant not wearing it again today. It's my favorite shirt that I own.
Still no freaking. Okay, gotta switch to Kelsey. people watching?
I got 4
For what?
people watching. All time, new record, world record.
Nice, right now?
4 people.
Yeah. Ben's still in here?
Yep.
Kicking
Is he?
ass in Apex?
Well, I assumed he was. I said yeah.
Oh no, he disappeared.
Ah.
Are you a Parmesan cheese player?
Of course I am. I like
Is that what you
Parmesan
do?
so much that I will put an amount of Parmesan cheese on top of this before it is done cooking that most people will be like, really, dude? And yeah. Ah.
What are you doing there? Anyway.
Chopping up
What
some
do
of
you-
these bigger onions.
Okay, slap chopping.
Uh-huh. And it's not really working. It wasn't worth it to do.
You try.
It was a bad idea. I swung. I missed.
You didn't want chunky onion.
Honestly, I don't mind the chunky onions. I just, when I was looking at them, I was like, I cut them like steak onions, and not so much spaghetti onions. Oh, but that's still a little bit better than I was. Let me get
Yeah,
these.
you thinking more diced for spaghetti and then bigger for steak?
Yeah, for sure. Well, steak, you want them to be able to be picked up with a fork, you know?
Yeah, get it all in one bite.
You gotta wash those mushrooms off. Make sure to
Watch
do that.
me. Come here.
And bam. I'm also realizing that we got a lot more mushrooms than we got onions. That's fine. I like mushrooms a lot more than I like. Well, I don't know. I like mushrooms pretty good. I like onions a lot too. Plastic.
Seems like a good farm food.
Yeah, man. The mushies, bro. Do I want? Are these still any good? I wonder. I don't know. Making you hungry, Stosh.
Yes and no. I can smell my chicken, and that's what I forgot. I had chicken in the oven. Shit.
You got you been boiling it or is it in the oven by now?
It's in the oven. I made the noodles already. Ate that, but you've been talking about chicken all week, so I thought I'd make some chicken.
Hey man, we have been talking about chicken all week. It's not been the best chicken talks, but it's been a decent one.
you got nice pace though. Not making a mess. Better than I could do. Yeah, you know, with this quarantine, it's good to get exercise. Like 15 to half an hour, 15 minutes to half an hour a day.
Kelsey, quarantine cooking. 5 people watching on
Quarantine cooking, that's right.
If it wasn't online, this gathering would be banned.
You can say that again. Well, sports fan, it's cloudy with a chance of quarantine, and we're stuck inside.
That's exactly what's happening.
I thought we were already in a global lockdown.
Kinda. I mean, I just had a meeting. My work colleague just told a friend who's in Bali for a while, but yeah, they've been grounded. So they're trying to all flights, basically all international flights are stopped. So they're trying to organize with the embassy to fly back to Switzerland.
See, what if this is the Intergalactic Federation putting us all in prison, and now we're in electromagnetic prison, and the rulers on Earth have no power, we're all equal. Just saying, it's possible. But yeah, that's a bummer for your coworker. People are stuck. They're good. I mean, there's worse places to be stuck than Bali, but like Jakarta.
I don't know. I think being stuck anywhere would kind of suck. No matter how awesome the place is, right?
What time is it at your place, Kelsey?
7 o'clock a.m.
7 a.m. That's early spaghetti.
Morning spaghetti. That's what I call it, morning spaghetti.
Yeah.
And we got about, so far in this, we have about 3/4 of a pound of mushrooms, probably about a whole onion, about 6 cloves of garlic.
6 cloves of garlic.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds appropriate for that amount of mushrooms.
And about 5 pounds of meat
Yum.
that we will be adding back in just a second. I don't need you in there.
My wife's demanding a sample, but yeah. Yeah, a whole portion of it. Yeah. How many spaghetti are you planning on?
A spaghetti artifact.
How many spaghetti are you planning on?
I don't know, man. I'm making enough to be frozen and last me through an apocalypse.
Sounds about right.
And do you portion them in individuals or just?
Oh no, yeah, I put them in servings in like Ziploc bags.
We need details, Kelsey.
I'll show you at the end. All this is gonna happen. Now we gotta do the quick and not drip anything, so we get the last drop. We see that's 1 drop. See when the next one comes around, there's 2 more, so we do that and quick.
My wife's loving it. She wanted to grab it from the screen. Too late. I'm gonna support my local McD.
And now, before we add the sauce, you will have noticed that I have not seasoned any of this yet. I never do that. I want to marry the flavors of the mushrooms, the onions, and the beef naturally, without any salt or anything other than just the natural flavorings from the onions, the mushrooms, and the meat. And the garlic, of course.
I'm picturing a cow in a field eating mushrooms, and then off to the side in the garden is the onions and garlic sitting together talking. Thing.
So
You see that cow eat those mushrooms? Little does he know he's gonna end up in a pan with us all one day. Something like that. I don't know. I'm trying my best here.
You're doing good. I hit it pretty heavy with that Texas Pete. There's going to be a lot of sauce when it comes down to it, but I want the meat to catch most of the spice.
Hot sauce. Yum, yum.
Do you put a little Worcester in there?
Nah, I usually don't.
Worcestershire.
I usually don't go that route with it. My sauce is more of like a sweet, spicy sauce. Like I do a little sugar at the end.
Oh yeah.
I'll be back in 20 minutes. So I guess then it would be ready and about to be eaten for 10 minutes, I guess. So see you in a bit.
All right, man.
Are you streaming that? You eating that too?
Not all of it.
Yeah, not all of it, for sure, but
We're gonna hit it pretty good with the seasoned salt. I like seasoned salt. Don't kill me. I like Lawry seasoned salt. I'm a redneck.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna be doing this for a very long time. Be grinding pepper for the rest of my life over here. Make sure I'm on the right setting.
I'm passively listening.
So are you a believer that pepper should never be added to the end because you want it its freshest? Like, should always be cracked, fresh too?
I use cracked pepper almost exclusively. The only thing is when you need it for a lot like this and you don't have one of those big fucking shoehorn fucking pepper grinders, you'll be standing here grinding like this for fucking however long to get the right amount of pepper in it. Because this is going to be so much. I know this looks like I've seasoned the fuck out of it, but I want the meat to be seasoned because when I add the sauce, it's going to be diluted a bunch.
So how are you gonna wear that as underwear?
You'll see. You'll see at the end.
Oh,
I'll show you. I'm very good at it. Just don't get me wrong, I'm very good at this. We're using Prego flavored with meat. Oh, let me get this back in the refrigerator. Garlic, especially peeled garlic, don't last too long if you keep it out of the cool for more than just a few minutes. Sponsored by Screwball Whiskey. Tomorrow's stories begin right here. Get this stuff married in together good.
food for thought. Prego in Italian means you're welcome.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, or thank you, or don't mention it.
Oh, prego.
Yeah, the most common translation for you're welcome. Prego. I remember that from when I was in Italy. It is not short for pregnant. Yes, it is. I lied.
And now we will bring the heat down even lower, about medium, and you will look at this and you will see that something else needs to be done. Most folks, when they will get to this point in their spaghetti and they have mixed together the meat sauce with, or the meat with the sauce, they've made their meat sauce, this is their last step. This is incorrect. If you make your spaghetti like that, there is a way to make it better, and I'm about to show you how to do that. Especially when you get to something like this, you'll see the consistency of it where it's mostly meat. I could go a whole nother one of these, but you don't want that. What you want to do is, depending on if you do just a small batch of spaghetti, you can do 1 can of tomato paste and add 1 can of water. But the trick is keep all my.
It sounds to me like you have standards.
Of course I do.
Over time, you've perfected something to do it the same way. Steady, stable, and constant each and every time.
And it works right every time.
You know what we call that, Kelsey?
Consistency?
Consistency. Hey, I liked how that worked out.
And if I can get this thing out of here. There we go. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it smells good. I can smell it from here.
I'm going to clear it out from the sides and dump it out in there. Reuse the jar that the sauce comes in. Bam! Ah, well. Put that right there for right now.
You really need that extra can of tomato paste, hey?
I would recommend it every time.
Thickens it a little better.
Well, these the companies like Prego and Ragu and all of those things all have various, and I like Newman. I like Newman's Own personally. That's my favorite.
What's the other one? Newman's?
Newman's Own is my favorite. Yeah, that's my favorite one. But all of those have their own signature flavors, and they kind of get away a little bit from the actual tomato taste, which is kind of what's best about spaghetti.
Yeah, I agree. They can be, they're the same each time, but they're not. They're a little thin sometimes. You don't want to have wet noodle with those sauces if you're not. Like, you've gone the extra distance here. This is beautiful. Looks great.
Well, every time I make spaghetti, I make it in this pan in large quantities for a very long time. This will be the biggest spaghetti I've ever made right here, though. And I usually only do about like half the size of this. Okay. Now, the trick is since you've got this full of tomato paste, you want to fill up about equal parts paste to water. So fill up 2 cans of the tomato paste cans with water. And cap this motherfucker off and make sure. Rookie mistake is that you'll usually always have shit around the edges here. And if you don't do something about that, you'll go to shake it up and you'll be slinging tomato sauce all over your fucking kitchen. And that ain't no good. Shake that shit up. You also get all of the good out of your sauce here. You get a nice little...
Oh, yeah. Oh. So you're thinning out the... Okay, I get it. Makes it a little... Be able to work with it instead of just throwing it in the pan immediately.
Yep.
Genius.
And then you can even go a little bit further.
Yeah, I usually do the rinse out too.
And put that in there because the longer the sauce cooks, the water's going to cook off anyway.
The water will evaporate out.
Yep.
Reduces down.
And then
Oh,
you got
beautiful.
this beautiful little, just fucking, it's like you're not gonna, one thing that you hate about things is like, you don't want to get spaghetti where it's like a shitload more sauce than meat, or meat than sauce. You kind of want it to be equal parts each. Get it like that. See a big old hunk of garlic in there. We'll leave it. And that's the best part. Now, and honestly, I could say that this is all going to be very good when I eat it in a little while. Because, I mean, I'll still make noodles and shit after a while. But I want this sauce to sit like that on low for a long time. I don't even want to put a number on it, just a long time. But I don't know. I just want to let everything have enough time to fucking give inanimate objects personalities. I want to give everybody time to meet each other, to acquaint themselves with the flavors, to marry with each other. I just want that to be a thing. And I think it'll make
Give them time to read name tags.
Yeah, man.
To know each other a little.
Yeah, man. Oh, but almost forgot.
We can't share the sauce together, so at least let the sauce enjoy itself.
We hit it with a little bit of sugar. A little bit more of that. That's right. Valis knows. Simmer it. Hit it with a little bit of that sugar.
We need to get you an apron. And I want to see muffins with Kelsey one day. Pudding with Kelsey. Pudding with pudding.
Oh, pudding with the pudding. That's right. Pudding is as pudding does.
So have you turned it off the heat, or is it still just simmering?
It's on medium right now.
Okay.
I progressively, all right, so I turned the heat down after I pulled the ground beef off. I cut the heat off so that it wouldn't just overheat the pan when there's nothing in it, because I don't see the point in that. But then when I turned the when I turned it back on, I went to the onions the same heat, about between 7 and 8, probably about 60%. I cook everything at about 60%. And yeah, I got about 60% heat, 7 or 8. Then whenever I put the mushrooms in, I dropped it down to about 6. And then when I put the meat back in and stirred everything together, after that I dropped it down to medium again.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen at home, there's a beautiful tip for you. That it's a rookie mistake to crank it on high. Then you end up ruining your pans and a perfectly good meal.
Yep.
So if you start low and go slow, you'll actually get to enjoy it by the
Slow
end
and low,
instead of...
that is the tempo. Another rookie mistake too is that folks don't put the shit. I personally think after you put sauce in a freezer bag and give it enough time to like contract, because you know when you freeze something, everything like tenses up and it contracts. Man, I think that even blends the flavors of everything in it even more. So when you thaw it out and like take out a frozen bag of spaghetti sauce and throw it on with a little bit of water and I always put a little bit of extra water in it every time because I feel like it's more concentrated after it's been frozen. So just throw a little bit of water in it that it loses in the freezing process maybe. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe that's just a crazy thought. But either way. Probably wouldn't lose water with it. Huh?
Same with the reheating rice. I usually throw a bit of water at the bottom to steam it up a bit, rehydrate what's lost. Oh, you're making my mouth water.
But the most important part hasn't happened yet. My favorite part, anyway. Smooth that shit out like concrete, baby. You like that?
What could it be?
Smooth that shit out like concrete. Did I not put it in?
He pulls the trowel out and just smooths it out. Perfect.
I don't have enough of the good stuff left. We just use regular Walmart brand Parmesan. But y'all, this, in my opinion, is what makes the spaghetti. And anybody who's ever had my spaghetti, if they're like, dude, this is so good, and I'm like, you need Parmesan? They're like, no, man, I don't really like Parmesan, but this shit is so good, I don't even need Parmesan. Guess why? Because it's got Parmesan in it, motherfuckers. Every batch of spaghetti I've ever made has ended just like this. And everybody's always been so happy about it. And this has to have a little bit more because it's so much. That's enough. Fold that shit up in there like that. That way it doesn't get sticky on your spoon. And then you'll have that just Parmesan spoon. Mmm. 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 You know what? Remember that fat dude that did those food reviews on YouTube? Mmm, so good. Who was that guy?
Hey! So good.
And that's the final touch. And after you look at it again, can't even tell that much Parmesan cheese is in there. But it's in there. And it is delicious. Bam! So that will go into quart-sized bags. The only problem is, where am I going to put it?
If you could see me, I'm giving you a hand.
I took a bow.
Good call. Well deserved. That was beautiful. That was an artist at work right there.
So now this is a serious matter. Where am I going to put it? I just don't know. I'm not going to try to move the camera. That one's weird when I try to move it. Maybe I could clear out that side and just stack bags over like that. I don't know. Stosh is the only one awake in voice chat. Wash your hands, eh? That's right. And I'll, after you let this grease that's in the sink sit for long enough to cool off, it'll just kind of like absorb into these newspapers and any other newspaper shit. I always keep newspapers around. Always. I'll just fucking pile them in there and let them soak that shit up, because you don't ever want to put that shit. You don't ever want to put that shit in the drain. But the sink is just it's the easiest place to drain shit because it has a fucking drain. So you would think, yeah, just put this in there. But it's not the most ideal spot. And after you do it like that, get you a couple of more newspapers in it that'll soak it up. Pick it up. No drip at all. And now, it's in your trash can. How you like that, Stosh? How you like that, Balish? How you like that, America?
Nailed it.
How you like that, America? And then, the proest tip of all, pot of water I said we'll need later. Actually, let's put a little bit more in it. This you can put on high. Matter of fact, I encourage it. You'll find that unless you rinse off your shit immediately, you'll find that there are things that are stuck to the side of your colander. Take you a little bit of boiling water and slide it over it. And that shit will fall right the fuck off. And we got what we were waiting for. I leave it on medium heat until I hear it bubble. And then take it down even lower. We go to about 2.5. About 2.5 to 3. And I progressively lower the heat until I turn them all the way off. Brap, brap, brap. That's right. Wake up them neighbors, Stosh. Fuck them. Use that coffee grinder. No more room for food, man. For real. We'll take these. Rinse these guys out. Are you streaming too, Stosh? How's your stream going?
No, I'm just listening. I'm on VC in Discord. I won't grind my coffee, I'm just going.
Who cares? Grind that shit. If you need coffee, how long does it last? It's not like you're going to be grinding it for 2 hours.
Never long enough. what she said.
When I worked at Starbucks, I sold so many of those fucking coffee grinders and coffee machines and shit. Cans.
What 3 Italian words do I know? Make this stuff.
Linguine, fettuccine, manicotti, lasagna.
Bellissimo.
Venti.
Bella ragazza.
I don't know what that means.
Means beautiful girl.
Beautiful girl. Oh man, my neighbor's having to go to work. Dude, I feel bad for folks who are like being forced to go to work right now. Like everybody's like, oh, they're just making a big old fuss about it. It ain't no big deal.
Yeah.
What if it is? What if it is?
If it was a hoax, I doubt that's a hoax. With this amount of response,
Yeah, I don't know, man.
no government would be left in power if it was a hoax by the end of this year. Maybe that's the plan. Who knew? All we can do is practice social distancing, don't touch your face, wash your hands.
Yep. Oh, you get it.
Remain alert. See, even as an individual, I haven't been in contact with too many people, and I may even refrain from like those small meetup with friends, or whether it's just for a coffee at their house, because that might even lead to further infection or spread of the disease. If it is a threat, you don't want to put family or friends in danger. Just like winter, you stay at home, everyone's okay.
Well, the thing is like, if you had the flu, you wouldn't go out and sit at the bar and spread the flu around, would you?
That's right, yeah.
So here's the thing.
Even though you'd be a jerk for doing it. But
Right.
do it.
But the thing is that folks that'll do they won't go sit out at the bar because they have the flu, but they're sitting there saying, well, if we're going to get it anyway, then we may as well go ahead and get out and get it. That way we can build up an immunity to it. And
that's what I question as well. That you may be prolonging the quarantine process.
Right.
Because if it's 100% infection rate, it's going to mutate at a much, like maybe that's just it. They don't want it to mutate rapidly and then it gets out of control. It's also a fear. But you can't live in fear. You know, we've made it this far. Think positive. Positive push. Yes.
You got it. Yes.
Words of the great Brody Stephen Stevens.
R.I.P. the great Stephen Brody Stevens.
And maybe we should say that too, like have some awareness of friends and family. Give give an old friend a phone call. You know, maybe people need to hear from each other. It's what's been lacking.
The people who know me are like, yeah, he ain't gonna do that. I'm the worst at staying in touch with people, man.
As you sit and just let your phone go to voicemail.
I don't know. There's certain people. There's like a few dozen people that'll call that I'll answer every time. But sometimes I'm just not able to. Or if I'm like, I'll also be very honest with people about like, hey, I'm not taking phone calls right now. I'll shoot you a message and be like, hey, what's up? But even then, man, I got so many fucking messages. Like, so many messages.
Seems the biggest constraint is time. It's like getting back to people.
Yeah, I'm back. But they forgot the curry dip. Dang. That
We have completed our spaghetti cycle. Zwiki.
swinging.
Zwisky. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and kill the heat on the spaghetti sauce. All heat has been cut off of the sauce. You want to let it cool down a little bit before you start bagging it up. Bagging it up.
Then you get that shit out to the streets as soon as possible.
That's right. Get that shit out on the streets and make that dough, son. Make that dough, cuz.
Then they take the dough, they put the sauce together, they add a little bit of cheese, and you got yourself some pizza.
Pizza dough. Oh, bro, I would kill to have a pizza made with this sauce I just made.
Why don't they use meat sauce?
What if...
America, can we do one thing in 2020 right and put meat sauce on a pizza?
Dude, I think I'm going to try that. I got a few tortillas.
Sounds delicious.
I got a few tortillas, and that's basically all, like, small thin crust pizzas are, just little tortillas.
I did that with leftover bolognese sauce and just did make a dough, small pizzas, just put it on there, and then sprinkle it with cheese, put it in the oven.
Oh, and I got tandoori chicken coming out of the oven. Damn. Well, neighbors are going to work at 6 p.m.
Yeah, and I just heard my neighbor get in his truck and go to work. I'm like, yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. I feel bad for folks who have to go to work during this thing.
I'm sure my neighbors are lovely people. They kind of have a slamming the door problem. Oh, there it is. Who shuts the door 4 times in a row? I don't understand.
Maybe they really wanted to emphasize that they were leaving.
And they can definitely hear me say that. Yeah.
I mean, my neighbors are cool as shit, dude. I've lived here for 10 fucking years. Me and my neighbor here on this side, he's been here. He's been here since before I was here, and he had just moved into this place probably about a year or so before I did. And shit, we've been here for fucking How long's it been?
Many, many moons.
Dude, it's been like 9 years. Shit, no. Because we started, it's been 9 years. Because I lived here 1 year after I started the band Cornbread. Or we started the band Cornbread, rather. Let this stuff cool off a little bit longer. And then we'll start bagging it up. But, anyway, I'm going to end the stream. Stosh, I believe you're the only one in here. You have anything you want to say to the folks before we sign off?
Just have yourselves a lovely day. Wake up and get out there and look at the sunshine. Breathe the fresh air and enjoy yourselves.
Yeah, breathe
Much
the fresh
love.
air with coronavirus in it.
Well, give yourself some space.
What about you, Whiskey? I forgot you were in here, buddy. I'm sorry. You wanna say anything to the fine people of the world?
Enjoy life.
There you go.
And your food.
Hey, yeah. That's right. Enjoy life and your food. All right. I love the fuck out of you, internet people. Be good people in a world full of shitty people. Don't be one of those people. Be a good person. Peace, bitches.
Give it up for Kelsey, y'all.